Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I'm back with another round of TBR Mini Star Hop. This is for the month of March. I'm starting on March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day late, because I'm sure you'll be seeing this in like 2 months if my most recent abilities to edit my videos is any indicator of it. But I am really excited. I'm going to be playing with my Patreons, and it's so much fun to play with them. You all, obviously if some of you are my Patreons watching, it's just so nice to have a weekend to hang out with them, chat, read books, just get a ton of reading in. I really needed it because I've had so much going on with school and work, which I know I always say, but I have read 0 books yet this year. This month, wow, I can't talk. I can't even focus. Today was really busy for me. I usually kind of prep a little bit for this, but instead I was babysitting today. So I'm a little bit worn out, which it was great fun. So it's like good worn out, but still worn out. So my brain might not be at 100%. But I'm really hoping to be able to get at least 2 or 3 of my books from my actual March big TBR on here, because I have read none of them yet. And I don't want to lose. I just am starting to remove black holes. Like I don't want to have to add them back on. So hopefully that's where we're gonna go with this. Hopefully the board's nice to me. Let's jump into roll number 1, and fingers crossed there's no black hole, because we've hit that first black hole every time for months, and I just need to avoid it this time. Like I need it. Okay, here we go with roll number 1. Have my little Millennium Falcon ready to go, and anything but a 6. I'm a little nervous. I feel like we've gotten 6s every time. Okay, here we go. 4. That's not, ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a sun, which tends to be hard prompts, but you know what? It's not a 6. So let's see what we get. Okay, we got a sun, so we are going to spin the spinner wheel with all the sun prompts, and we are going to see what we get. Oh, it was already open. I was babysitting and they were playing with the spinner wheel just for fun. So here's sun prompts. Ooh, I got a screen record. Sorry. Okay, so I mean, of the prompts that are on here, I would prefer it not to be a book over 500 pages since it's my first book, but that wouldn't be the end of the world since I still have 48 hours. I really don't want a TBR vet, but I could live with it. Okay. Friend pick. That is doable. Friend pick is okay. I'm not mad about that one. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some options, and then I'm going to have my Patreons pick which book that I'm going to read. Okay, so I have the options. I have told them, and I'm waiting for votes to come through, but I have obviously The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. How have I not read this yet? This is ridiculous. I am a little bit into it, so it wouldn't be quite as long. But yes, this one is on there. I have The Bone Shower Daughter by Andrea Stewart. This one, again, is kind of a channel buddy read. You can definitely join in if you want to. I'm going to be doing live shows for all of the books. The first live show is going to be, I think, April 2nd for this one. So really looking forward to that. I have Tower of Dawn. I am not going to be doing the tandem read. I'm so sorry to those of you who told me this is the best way to do it. I just need to do it one book. I don't know why. I just need to do it. Then I also have Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Again, how have I not read this? I've been meaning to do it for months. I'm so excited about this book. I have heard amazing things about it. Really excited. And then I also have Bunny by Mona Awad. I am, again, really excited about this one. This is like a dark academia. I hear it's very weird and just overall kind of a bizarre book, and it's my Patreon buddy read for this month. So again, I really want to read that one as well. So let's see what they vote on. Okay, they have voted, and I don't think it's very surprising. It was actually fairly torn between Bunny and Tress of the Emerald Sea, which I love my Patreons. They obviously are trying to be nice to me and give me the shorter books from the list, so very much appreciated. They were tied for a while, and I asked my husband, but then a couple people changed theirs. Like, no, we want to decide, which I thought was great. And so I'm going to be reading Bunny by Mona Awad for my first pick, and I am really excited about it. I think this is the shortest book on my list. I have it on audiobook, which I can get through fairly quickly, and I don't know, I think it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be a very intriguing book, and I'm hoping that its weirdness is to my liking. So hopefully I can get this done fairly quickly and we can do another roll tonight. Hello, it's now about 10:30 at night, which is not the worst considering I did pick a regular book for the first book. But I have finished Bunny, which I'm really excited about. I did quite enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. This book is not for everybody. I want that to be very, very clear. Even if you like dark academia, this book might not be for you. And that's okay. This book is very weird. It's very bizarre. It does have kind of, I feel, 3 distinct parts to it, where you kind of have the beginning part where we really are kind of outsiders. We have no idea what's going on. Then we have the middle part that almost feels like some sort of a trance fever dream. It's a little bit crazy and all over the place, right? And then we have almost the after part where you do actually figure out a good amount, but it still leaves you with a ton of questions, right? I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I was very intrigued. I needed to know what was going on. I really enjoyed this book. But like I said, this book, I could see people not enjoying, and I totally get that. I thought the writing was compelling and a little bit kind of on the pretentious side. I feel like our main character was made to kind of seem pretentious as kind of an outsider, poor person among rich people type person, which is a little bit different, I think, than some of our other dark academia. I do think it's very common for us to follow the poor person among rich people in these dark academias, but I do also feel that they don't always like kind of think of themselves as better than the other people, which this one kind of did. So it's kind of a little bit of a different take on that. And overall, I feel like of the dark academias that I have read, I would say the vibes of it is probably closest to Catherine House. They're still fairly different for sure, but I think the way the book was written, kind of how the plot went, that feeling of not really getting all the information and having a lot left up in the air, not knowing what's going on a lot of times, and having a character that is kind of oblivious where a lot of people around her know what's going on a little bit better. So overall, really enjoyed it. Glad that was my first pick, and kind of excited that I am now onto my second roll. I am fingers crossed that we don't hit that black hole, because I swear it just like sucks us in, which, you know, makes sense. I am no longer on with my Patreons because most people have already gone to bed. A lot of people are like on the East Coast, so they're a couple hours different. But we're gonna do this. I think I'll probably try to start the next book that I'm going to be reading, but if it's like a regular length book, I probably will not be finishing it tonight because I did have a really long day. So let's see what we get. Let's hopefully we get at least past the first black hole. I'd feel a lot more comfortable. Okay, so I think the only number we don't want is a 2. Yes, so the only number we don't want is a 2. I mean, I'd prefer to not have a 1 either, but I really just don't want a 2. Or, I'd rather not have a 5 either because I don't want a book over 500 pages, but really, anything but a 2, and I'll be okay with it. Ooh, that is beautiful. Woohoo! Oh, yay, I'm so excited, and it's a star prompt. Ooh. Okay, this round of the game is being so much nicer, and I'm so happy. Okay, we got a 6 and a star. I'm feeling really good about it, but it also makes me a little bit nervous when I get things that are a little too nice, because I feel like the game is saving up something really mean for me. But I'm gonna go with it. This is exciting. I will maybe load the spinner wheel. I think most of the books on this list are fine. Weirdly enough, I'd rather not pick a book under 300 pages just so I can choose one of the books that's already on my TBR, but I'm not really going to be mad about it either because it'll be quick and I can just pick something quick. So see what we get. Okay. Series. That's great. Okay, I mean, I obviously read a lot of series, so that's pretty open for me. So I'm going to go bring in my options. Actually, I didn't even have to leave the couch to grab my options because I'm just going to be grabbing books that are already on my March TBR. The only books that would not have counted from my March TBR were Bunny, which I already read, and Tress of the Emerald Sea. So that one is out of the options. So for options, I have The Bone Charred Daughter, which again, I'm very excited to read this one. I think this one would probably be the shortest and the quickest of all my options. But then I also, of course, have Tower of Dawn, which is fairly long. I mean, it doesn't look as long as the rest of the books in this series, but it is like well over 600 pages. It's like more closing out on 700 pages. So this is pretty long. And then, of course, I have The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson, which I'm already part of the way in, but how long is this one? It is also over 500 pages, but this one is barely over 500 pages. So it'd be a little bit more reasonable to be able to finish this one for sure. I don't know. I mean, these are quicker reads. These are very fast reads for me, but this one I've already started, so maybe it'll go a little faster. Plus, I'm really excited for it. I mean, okay, clearly it's between these two. I think I'll save this one for a little bit just because I'm not 100% sure. These ones are a series that I'm already in the middle of. Oh, I'm so bad at making decisions at night. I'm bad at it. I think it's probably safest to go with this one because I have already started it, and also I want to, I think I'll be able to get through this one quicker because I have already started it. So we're going to go with The Lost Metal. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm finally getting to this book. This is crazy. It feels like a big thing to be getting to this because it's been months and I haven't, and now I'm finally going to read it and like officially for sure going to read it because I have to read it before I can start the next book. I'm really excited. Okay, Lost Metal it is. I'll probably read a little bit before going to bed, but I honestly probably won't update you because I don't think I will have read very much by that time. Okay, it is now the next morning. I am up. It's closing in on 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to start my first set of sprints with my Patreons, and I'm doing pretty well on The Lost Metal. I'm just over halfway through, and things are getting very interesting, very connected to the Cosmere. So I would definitely not recommend reading this if you haven't read other things in the Cosmere. I don't know. It feels like it might be spoilers, but I guess other things might be spoilers for this. I guess it's kind of hard to say what you should read first, but reading in publication order might be ideal before this one for sure. Like First Era Mistborn, not a big deal, but this one definitely has Cosmere connections. I'm loving it. I am so invested. I'm so excited, and it does feel like I have made a huge chunk. Granted, I had like already started a little bit, so I had already read some, but I made a good chunk last night, and I'm ready to finish it. Probably not in this first set of sprints because we're only going to sprint for about 2 hours, but this early afternoonish is my goal. Yeah. Okay, I got back from the coffee shop. I did film a couple clips, not too much though, but hopefully I'll be able to slide that in a little bit. But I finished The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. I am so happy, so excited. This has been a really long time coming, and I do feel though that even though I did have a little bit of a break between starting the book and finishing it, I didn't really forget anything. This was such a great conclusion to the series. I think that he really wrapped things up fairly well, but he did leave a significant amount open as well. I feel like this second Era Mistborn was definitely setting up the third Era Mistborn much more than the first Era Mistborn was setting up second Era Mistborn. I feel like first Era Mistborn completed very well, and I didn't feel like I needed to read more. I felt like it was done, it was complete, it was a whole series. This one, I did not feel that way as much. Like, I felt like there was definitely a lot left for us to figure out after the ending of this one. So take that as you will. I'm sure it was intentional, but it definitely had a different feel to it. I thought that there was just so much Cosmere connection in here, so many things that we learned. It was just a lot of information. I loved it. It definitely was very exciting and thrilling. I felt like it was very plot focused and figuring out mysteries focused. And so overall, I loved it. It was so much fun. I'm so glad that I finally finished this. It is now closing in on 5:00 p.m. though. And I waited to do my next roll until I started my sprints with my Patreon so I could do it live with them. So I will be starting that in just a few minutes. We're really close to that. And then we'll see what my next roll is. I am in a pretty good spot. As long as I get anything but a 1, then I will not have to go back to the beginning. I need to get a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. If I get a 5 or a 6 though, we're done, which is kind of crazy. Well, not done. I do have one more book to read, but that's so crazy. This could be my final roll of the game. Okay, here we go. Roll number 3. Anything but a 1, anything but a 1. I'm so nervous. Okay. 2, I will take it. I don't care. I'll take a 2. Whew. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, let's go see what the prompt is. Okay, we are past the black hole. I don't know if you guys realize how excited I am. I was like just celebrating, and I just feel so much better. I know we just got a 2, and there's still a chance we have like 3 more books in this readathon, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. And let's go ahead, spin the wheel, see what we get for a prompt. We're on moon prompt, right? Yes. I had to double check there for a second. I don't think there's too many on here that I really would have a problem with. I feel pretty good about them, so. No. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Greater than 400 pages. So pretty much the hardest prompt that we could have got in the moon prompts, but I'm going to go pull out options. Okay, well, I mean, that was the unfortunate most unfortunate one that we could have gotten, but honestly, my choices have not really changed anyways, so I guess it doesn't matter. We still have Tower of Dawn, which is well over 400 pages. It's like over 650 pages. Then we also have The Bone Shard Daughter, which I think, it's like 435 pages. So not bad. And then I have Tress of the Emerald Sea, which I don't own a physical copy, but one of my Patreons does. And she says it has 478 pages. So I can pick any of the 3 books that are still left on my TBR, which I'm actually really excited and happy about. This will be the 3rd one from my March TBR that I'm able to get on here. And I think I'm going to go with Tress of the Emerald Sea. I really want to read it. I'm feeling in the Cosmere mood. I just finished Lost Metal, and I just kind of want to remain in that kind of vibe. I know that they definitely have different feels, different vibes, different atmospheres to them, but I am really excited about it. So I think that Tress of the Emerald Sea is going to be my next pick. I think I should be able to finish it this evening and be able to do another roll before bed as well. So that's also good. Okay, so It's now 11 o'clock at night, and I finished Tress of the Emerald Sea. I'm done, and I'm so excited. I actually really loved this book. I thought it was so good. It had a very fairy tale feel to it, but it also had very like harsh and kind of gruesome elements to it. So it was kind of like an adult fairy tale, more like the Grimm fairy tales, right? Where they were dark and they had like some grit to them. This wasn't dark, but it definitely had some very like serious elements to it. I really enjoyed our main character. Like, she was different and she was fun, but she wasn't in like a very obnoxious way. She was very kind to those around her while still being practical. I liked all of the characters, really. I thought they were very well done. I absolutely loved the narrator. That was so fun. The twists, the like connections to the Cosmere, all of it was great. And honestly, I absolutely adored this book. It was so good. It was perfect. I wanted to keep reading. I wasn't bored through the whole thing. I was just really excited to keep going, which was great because it kind of pushed me to not take any breaks. Since like the end of our sprints all the way on to now, I've just kind of read steady and finished. So loved it. It was a perfect pick. And now let's go ahead and jump into what could hopefully be our last roll of the game. I really hope it is so I can pick a full-length book, but we shall see. Oh, there's still a chance we could have 3 more books. Okay, here we go with potentially our last roll of the game. 3, 4, 5, or 6 are acceptable rolls. Here we go. 6. I could have used that earlier, but we'll take it now. Oh, yes, we are on the last one. I am so happy. Ooh, this was good. This was a good game. Okay, we got lucky and got to the end with that final roll. I'm really excited about it, and honestly, let's just like keep on brand for this readathon. We have 2 options left. We have the Bone Shard Daughter and we have Tower of Dawn. So, pros and cons to each of these books. The Bone Shard Daughter is shorter. It is much more reasonable a length. I am much more likely to finish it. I think it'll be really fun, really interesting, intriguing. I'm really excited to read this one. And then we have Tower of Dawn, which is longer. And this one definitely is going to take me longer. So this one's audiobook is like 14, 15 hours long, but con is I don't have the audiobook for it right now. I would have to read it physically because I don't have the audiobook. I'm going to be borrowing it from my library and the loan hasn't come in, so I'd have to read this one totally physically. But this one is like 9 hours longer in the audiobook. So it would take longer, but I do have the audiobook for this one. And also I have had a Throne of Glass book on my mini Star Hop games for a very long time. I've had one on for like the majority, I think, of the games that I have played of this mini Star Hop. So it kind of is a tradition. So here are our options. I'm going to be honest, if I had the audiobook for the Bone Shard Daughter, I might go with this one just because it's a more reasonable length. But since I don't have it, I think I would struggle a little bit more reading it because I am a little bit tired and I will still be tired tomorrow, I am sure. So I just don't know if I'd be able to focus very well. So I guess I am going to go with Tower of Dawn. That's kind of a big ask, and I might be setting myself up for failure. I might still lose this one, even though I did so well and it wasn't that hard and wasn't that many books. But here we go. We're putting Tower of Dawn on this. It is like over 650 pages long. This is quite a long book, but I think we can do it. I have faith, and we shall see. I might have to stay up a little bit later than I was anticipating tonight. Okay. It's now closing in on 3 in the morning and I'm about to go to bed. I thought I'd do just a little quick update on my reading progress. I am like this much through the book, not quite to halfway. I'm on page 287, but I feel like I've gotten a decent chunk through. And I still have tomorrow to finish it, so I should be good. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm enjoying it. I honestly feel like I don't necessarily want to go to bed. Like, I'm exhausted, but I'm really having fun reading. And I feel like I could just stay awake and keep reading it. Like, I'm invested. I want to know what happens. I'm not the biggest on the love triangle-esque trope. I feel like when I get invested in a relationship, it's not that easy for me to flop to a new relationship in a book. So that's something that I feel like happens a lot in Sarah J. Maas books, and it's something that makes me be less invested in them, I think. But that's just me personally, and I know that a lot of people do not agree with me on that. So, but I actually am really enjoying this, and I'm having fun. I know that a lot of people don't like Tower of Dawn, but I'm good with it. I think it's an interesting side story, but now I'm gonna go to bed, and I have sprints tomorrow morning at 11. I probably will wake up a little bit before that to get a little bit of reading done. I don't know. We'll see how tired I am, but now I definitely need to go to bed. You can probably tell that all my thoughts aren't perfectly coherent, and hopefully tomorrow I can think a little bit more clearly. Okay, it's now 5 p.m. The readathon has ended, and I finished Tower of Dawn. This was actually a lot of fun. I do feel like it does sometimes get to me a little bit where there is like this very much end of the world situation happening, and people are still much more focused on their love life than they are on maybe preventing that, considering all of these young people are pretty much running the world here and are kind of all that's between, you know, everyone dying and everyone surviving. Yet somehow that does not seem to be their number one priority. But overall, I actually did really enjoy this book. I thought it was fun. I thought it was very readable. The story was super easily digestible. I didn't think it was too complex. We had some like interesting characters in here. I actually did prefer one storyline to the other, but I did think there was a really interesting reveal in here that I was quite intrigued by. So overall, I did actually have a good time with this book. I know that a lot of people say they absolutely hate Tower of Dawn, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty decent. I mean, I thought it was on par with the rest of the books in this series. I honestly thought it kind of gave the same thing, really. It was kind of had that very angsty, dramatic, a little over the top, very romance focused, but also had an interesting plot and like a pretty cool world, some twists and stuff. So yeah, overall, it was a good time, and I think that this is kind of the perfect book to end with because it doesn't take a whole ton of brain power, and I can just binge it, which is really what I need at the end of a readathon like this when I'm really tired and I've already read a lot. So overall, I read 4 books during this readathon, but I do feel like it still was one of my most productive readathons. So let's talk about the books that I read. I only have 2 of them physically, so the ones that I don't own are Tress of the Emerald Sea and Bunny. So I had Bunny for a friend pick, and then I had The Lost Metal for a book in a series. Then I had Tress of the Emerald Sea for a book over 400 pages. And then Tower of Dawn was my final free pick. And 4 books is actually a smaller number that I've had for this game, but these were all for like actual books. None of them were novellas. I think Bunny was the shortest, and that one was still over 300 pages. This one was over 600, over 500. Tress of the Emerald Sea was over 400. And so like they all were decent length books, and they were all on my March TBR. So I was able to read 4 out of the 5 books on my March TBR during this 48-hour readathon, which is awesome. It actually feels really good to be able to knock out so many of the books that were on my list. And now I only have 1 book left from my March TBR to read for the rest of the month of March. So overall, I thought this was actually one of my favorite readathons that I've done. I know that's kind of crazy because there have been others that I read so much more, but I think a lot of it was because I was so behind on my reading, and this really caught me up. And now I feel very confident that I'm going to finish. So I just felt like it was a very satisfying readathon. Like, I've had others that were really fun and really exciting because of hitting black holes and getting hard prompts and stuff, but I just feel like this one had such a satisfying feel to it because I was able to check so many things off my list, get so many books done that I needed to read and that I've been wanting to read for forever. So yeah, this was so much fun, and I had so many of my Patreons join in, and it was great to see what they were reading. I feel like so many people read so much. One of them was on vacation and was still reading. It was just a really, really fun time. So yes. Now though, I'm quite tired, and so I'm gonna end this vlog and probably go take a nap, but thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you wanna see more from me, hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new content, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.